Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. We want to thank you for joining us today while we navigate through this unprecedented time in our country and around the world. This is truly a once in a lifetime, I think, for all of us. Today's FTD University webinar is entitled Preparing for Mother's Day in the Midst of a Crisis. Our team from FTD is going to share with you what we know today, how FTD is adapting our Mother's Day plans, and the resources that we have available to help you prepare for this holiday. I'm Emily Buckles. I'm the Director of Marketing Communications at FTD. I have 15 years of experience in the floral industry and connecting with our florist members. Also on the line with me is Keith Harbison and Joe Behringer. Keith has more than 30 years of experience in the floral industry. He is a former owner of a flower shop. He's our Senior Manager of Florist Quality, and he's also AIFD certified. And Joe is our Director of Sales for the FTD Flower Exchange, and he's been with FTD for 16 years. He's going to be sharing what he knows about the supply chain at this time as it relates to Mother's Day. Once we have finished the presentation, we will open it up for questions. So if you have a question, just simply type it into the question box on the right side of your screen, and feel free to submit the questions during the presentation. So without further ado, let's get started. And we all are working remote right now, so hold on and bear with us. As the screen is now not advancing. Okay, so here we go. Sorry about that. So Mother's Day is going to happen, and it's going to look and feel differently this year. But there is a huge opportunity for flowers as a way to connect. People are isolated, they're not able to see their friends, their family, and people are going to want to see their moms and have that opportunity to talk with them and see them and share with them and tell them how much they love them. So today we want to leverage that opportunity, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we know today, share with you FTD's updated merchandising strategy. We're going to share some key areas and how to prepare and the resources we have to help you, and then like we said, we'll take questions at the end. So what we know today and what we've seen in the last month is that you all are extremely resilient and you have a lot of grit. We have seen so much creativity. We've seen so many shops persevering, figuring out ways to stay open and safely operate. It is different in every region, in every state, in every county. Being a nationwide network, we definitely see what is going on throughout the United States and Canada. It's different depending on where you are. Some states are completely shut down. Some counties have taken it upon themselves to have their local sheriffs manage and monitor what's happening and going on. So I do want to call out that it is different, and there are varying degrees of what you all can be doing to safely operate your businesses. But we also know the supply chain is operating. It is strong. The plants were already in the ground. The flowers are already in the ground. So there is an opportunity there that, there are flowers. And there's also an increased interest in sending flowers. For example, we had a great Easter at FTD, and all of you, I'm sure, did as well, as long as you were able to operate. It was tremendous what we saw Easter going back to a holiday like it used to be. Month to date for FTD, our florist filled orders for consumer are 40% higher than last year at this time. So there is definitely demand for flowers. And we anticipate a strong Mother's Day, with seeing that interest at Easter, and then also having florist filled orders being sent through proflowers.com for Mother's Day. We are anticipating having a great holiday. We saw orders at Valentine's Day up 77%. And so that is just a testament to what FTD is doing between having florist filled orders through FTD as well as proflowers.com. So we are anticipating a strong Mother's Day. But before we really get into the nitty gritty, I think we do need to talk about best practices for shops operating. I mean, it is safety first. We can't make the decision of what shops are open and how they operate and what they need to do. So I think it is, everybody's responsibility to, make sure that they are taking precautions for themselves and their employees as well as customers. Some of the tips that SAF has come out and other florists, are allowing their sales and customer service teams to work remotely. They have dedicated workstations for designers and delivery. They're not crossing over and interacting with each other. there's only one driver per truck, and that truck is cleaned frequently. And then also just within the shop, that everything's being wiped down multiple times throughout the day. And no contact delivery. That's really, I think, been the saving grace for the floral industry, is that we're able to leave that arrangement at the door and not require a signature. And so that has given everybody the opportunity to still keep operating. So I want to share some ideas and things that I've personally seen. I'm sure many of you have seen them, that, again, just that resiliency and grit of florists, and just ways that florists are adapting to keep businesses open. And if they're not able to keep open, just keep connected with your customers for when that time comes that you can reopen. So leveraging, stories in Instagram, IGTV, so Instagram TV. If you don't know how to use it, now is the time. If things seem to be a little bit slower, you have that time to learn how to do it. Talking about, with how-to videos. There was a great, example of a shop in New York who's doing virtual workshops. So they're actually even selling tickets for their virtual workshop, having a delivery driver deliver the supplies to their attendees' homes. And then they would log on and do it like as a Zoom video to teach them what they, to do that workshop, which I thought was a fantastic idea to keep connected and give some people something to do. Leveraging Facebook and showing, here's your specials and what you have going on. The shop at the bottom there is showing examples of no contact delivery, again, building that confidence and trust with their customers. And then even just using email marketing. We're seeing a huge spike in email marketing and using it to communicate with your customers, sharing, maybe you have to reduce your hours, but you're there for them in this time and helping them connect. So I think it's just been really fun to see all the different ways that all of you are keeping connected with your customers during this time. And it's a great time to learn something new. So I'm going to turn it over to Keith right now to talk a little bit about cash flow.
Thanks, Emily. I can't imagine how tough it is probably to navigate these waters, right, in this difficult time. And I think, from a cash flow perspective, we thought we'd share a few ideas that we had on ways that you can maybe either extend out some of the payments or things like that could help you get through this time. So one of the things we want to remind you of is all the federal relief programs that are out there. Make sure you go to the federal website, sba.gov, and check out everything that's there for you. You'll see there like the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP, you might have heard it called, and you can find all the details. But I wouldn't wait on that. I would probably move on that as fast as you can if you haven't already. Also, SAF did a webinar last week, I think it was, or the week before, that went into this a little more in depth, and I think that would be a great resource for you as well. Also, keep your eye out for any extended pay programs. So, you might be surprised where those might pop up. But, for instance, we have in our marketplace program, right, you can go on a 90-day pay program for that and extend that payment out longer into the middle of summer when hopefully things return back to normal. One thing that most people probably do consider is, leveraging your credit cards a little bit to extend that payment out, at least buy some time, maybe 25 days or so in that purchase period, to be able to push some of those payments back to when you can have that cash flowing a little bit better. Something a little outside of the box, but it may not apply to everybody, but if you do have some type of a retirement plan or a 401k plan where you can maybe suspend those contributions for the meantime, that might be a way that you can pull back some cash, and then you can always catch up later in the year. And then I think the other one that sits out there that is an option would be to go to any of your regular vendors, whether it's your flower wholesalers or any of your suppliers, and just see what you can work out with them. It's all about relationships. So I would leverage some of those relationships where you can, and just ask for any type of extended pay or anything like that, or perhaps even a discount, for your loyalty and, of course, to their business too. So just a few ideas to kind of keep things going during this time. So, Joe, why don't you tell us a little bit about the supply chain?
Yeah, thanks, Keith. So Emily referred to this earlier. The flowers are in the ground in South America, right? And they're going to be ready for peak holiday demand. employees to work and get everything out the door. They have special permits for their drivers on the road, getting those flowers over to the airports. One thing we are seeing with the farms is reduced flight schedules. So because there is an overall demand, wholesaler overall demand is a little bit lower because wholesalers are closed and those are their main customers, that less flights are taking part from South America. And because of that uncertainty, they are more or less waiting to bring those flowers in until they see that demand pick back up. So with distributors and wholesale, what have we been seeing the past several weeks? So we've seen wholesalers close. We've seen consolidation of trucking lines like Armalini, Florida Beauty, Prime, just to name a few, where maybe they were shipping multiple days per week. They're consolidating down into fewer days. For a wholesaler, that might mean less drops, per week. So they might be getting less flowers in, right? Flower availability in Miami has been low. So the marketing arm of those farms in South America are saying, let's keep the flowers here because there's a cost to bring them into the country if they are unsold. So with all that uncertainty over the past, is what we've been seeing. Presently, we're hearing more and more wholesalers are reopening, right? We're still seeing Miami availability as far as product goes is pretty low. Those farms are still playing it cautious, right? And when wholesalers do open back up, they're probably going to be cautious too, right? They might be operating less staff, and they might be bringing in less product than what they have been. So what does that all mean, right? Last week, Emily referred to having a great Easter, right? So we're seeing huge consumer demand. And what does the future mean for us because of that? Really it comes down to planning and really pre-booking your needs. Mother's Day is only 26 days away. And when you think about it, when you want to get flowers into your shop, that's only a couple weeks away. So I would urge you guys not to play the open market. Last year, Easter fell really late. And from what I heard from a lot of customers, they were putting their Mother's Day purchases off until after Easter last year, right? Easter was the last week of April. You can't really do that this year. I want to urge everybody to really get their Mother's Day pre-books in with whoever you're ordering from, to really to lock in your best pricing and to lock in that availability. I don't see things in Miami and the Miami coolers changing too much. There'll still be product available for next day delivery, right? You're going to have fewer options than what you had in the past. And for Mother's Day, I'm really optimistic. We're all at home, just like what we've seen in Easter. You can't go out to mom and bring her in the car and bring her out to brunch this year. People are going to want some gifts. So I anticipate Mother's Day being a really big holiday for everybody. Em, I think it's on you with merchandising.
Yes. So we want to share with you what FTD is doing for its merchandising plan. So we came out last month with our original plan, and things have kind of changed a little bit as stay-at-home orders have been extended. Things are, maybe going to come back a little bit slower than what we probably were all anticipating even 30 days ago. So what we have done at FTD is we have actually reduced our assortment by 40% starting after cutoff on May 3rd. So the original assortment that we shared that was going to be available throughout the entire duration of the holiday was actually 20 items, and we have reduced that down to 12, and one of those being a florist choice item. By doing this, we're also reducing our flower varieties by 21%. So on that last slide, there was a flower list of what's going to be included. It'd be those high volume stems that we're anticipating for the holiday. So that will be available as well to you, and we'll share where that's available. The other thing that we're doing is we have ensured that all of the items are starting at $50 or higher. So a couple of these items that you can see here have a good version that we're actually not going to be offering because it is less than $50. So we are ensuring that all of those orders are $50 or higher. And then 2 items that are going to be added in that aren't here. We will continue to have up ED2, which is our top selling birthday codified item, and our ever popular CDB, which also has a new container and recipe in the NBB, as it is called, New Beyond Blue. The new Beyond Blue is going to be up on FTD.com starting actually this Thursday, the 16th of April. And CDB is going to be available on proflowers.com only, both being still florist filled. And that CDB on Pro will be up only until as long as the network can support it and that shops still have that container out in the market. But NBB is that new container, and that blue container that is very popular. That will stay up in a sympathy SKU or index that week. So be prepared for that as well. And then also we have a product calculator by percentage that I do want to share and show you. So we had launched this, and this is an opportunity to help you. We had launched this back at Valentine's Day. And so we're doing this again for Mother's Day. So this tool will be available this week. And so you can kind of play around with it and get an idea based on these SKUs and what you are planning to carry for FTD, what that percent mix is. So you can kind of back into what you anticipate you need for containers as well as stems. So this field up here, you can change it. Say you're going to fill 250 orders for FTD. So you can tell right here how that changed and what that breakout is going to be based on our forecast. So we are anticipating S2, the Full of Joy, to be our number one codified. And then the B05, the Sunny Sentiments, is going to be our top floral selection guide item. So those clear glass items, which you'll notice we have more of those clear glass items than we do of the codified once we get into the peak week. If for some reason you're not going to carry Sunlit Meadows, let's say, you change that to no, it will just change your count. So you can kind of get an idea of how that's going to change the order volume. I also want to call out at the very bottom, everyday items. We didn't have this at Valentine's Day, but we did add in, so you could anticipate based on 250 orders that 13.3% are going to be for those birthday and sympathy items. So it is kind of a mishmash of mixed arrangements in there, but we did call out the CDB and the BD2. So just to say, then you could anticipate about 33 orders would be in those kind of mixed everyday items. So this is going to be available this week, and it's a great tool that a lot of people really loved at Valentine's Day and asked for it to come back. And then we also have our incoming order capacity tool. So you may have gone into this yourself, or maybe you've had one of your FTD, your sales rep or someone from headquarters has called in to help you with this. But this is a great way for you to tell us how many incoming orders you can fill for FTD.com. It can help you control that volume. Especially, you're going to know what you're going to be able to do. You're going to know what kind of staffing you have. You're going to know what that is going to be. So this is going to be a great tool where you're going to be able to go and figure that out. So I'm going to go to the next slide. See, we're all working from home. This is not moving. Okay, so let's go into flowers. How can we help you prepare, Joe?
Yeah, what's the FTD Flower Exchange offering this year, right? We have 20% online for all products, and that's through the end of April. Now, that's just not shipping in April. You could book anything for future use too, and that means for Mother's Day. Just like with any other wholesaler, pre-book your flowers to get the best pricing and best selection, and get to guarantee that selection. And with so many of you out there probably operating with less staff than you might have before, we're also offering no risk on our labor saver bouquets. So we're featuring the Sunny Sentiments, in which Emily noted that's the projected top 2 best-selling SKU on FT.com this holiday. Then we also have the Sweet Surprise and Sweet and Pretty, which fall, I think, ranked number 10 and 11 in that top 12. And then we're also offering the Your Precious, which it won't be in that Mother's Day lineup after May 4th, but that's still a great bouquet that you can bring in and use for local traffic. As always, you can order online very easily on ftdflowerexchange.com. If you don't have your username and password, there's a button on there that says sign up, and you easily put in your member number with your email address that's on file with FTD and hit send, and you'll get an email instantaneously with your login. If you don't feel confident ordering online, you could talk to a fresh flower sales representative by calling 1-800-767-4000. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Joe. And I think, great opportunity with flowers. We've seen a tremendous interest in our flower exchange program the last couple of weeks. So I think it's a great opportunity if your wholesalers are still closed to and not sure when they're going to reopen. So thanks, Joe. I'm just going to talk quickly on codified containers. So we're going to have 5 of them during peak week. So if you've, all of our spring summer items are up now. They're going to be up for Admin Professionals Week next week, which, that it could be a nice little bump also for everybody. And then once that week of the 4th, happens, we are going to scale back, obviously. So these top 5 codified top sellers are going to be S2, S3, S6, 8, and SMRB. And do want to call out that if you haven't, you're not sure, you're just kind of not sure what's going to happen or how much money you want to spend. For less than $200, you can get all in on our spring summer combo pack. So it's a great opportunity to get in the game because you're not going to be able to get those orders unless you have those codified containers. We are doing buyback on full cases, of most of those items, and they're all going to be up through Labor Day anyhow. So, as we get through Mother's Day, they're also going to be up through the summer too. So there really is pretty low risk that you will be able to sell through those. And if not, we'll offer that buyback. And then just a reminder, our marketplace team, they have everyday glass and baskets and supplies. So again, if your wholesaler is closed, that's normally where you get your cleared glass, you get baskets. So they're available. Put it on your clearinghouse statement. So just wanted to give a shout out to that in that team as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Keith to talk a little bit about design and delivery of the next couple slides.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. And, I think as we start to look into the slide, I think many of you probably have a lot of questions or have struggled recently with being able to sub flowers or sub accurately when you can't fill the order exactly to recipe. And, and it's not that we don't allow substitutions. We just want you to kind of think through those, and you guys are the professionals, make the right choices and just step back and say, hey, does this look like the original design that I was intending it to be? And then kind of move on from there. But I want you to if you haven't already, and Emily and her team, the communications team, has for a long time put out on FTDI.com a holiday tools section to go to. And there is so much information in there that I think you'll find very helpful. And some of the things, I'm going to bounce around a little bit on this slide, but some of the things you'll find in there will be about sub-guidance, and there'll be flower lists in there, and there'll be all of the best sellers listed in there. There's best practice sheets. So there's so much information on that section on FTDI.com that I, if you're not going there, you're really missing something that I think will help guide you and help you through any holiday that's here. So some of the things we're doing this year, the substitution guidance for S7 and S8. So last year, we had a similar version of S8 up, and what we were finding was our members were using all the right flowers. They were using exactly the right flowers, but in the wrong color value. And so it totally changed the look and feel of the SKU. And so what we did is we put a more extended guidance together, like the sheet that you see here on the screen. And it just helped to provide that these were the varieties that were used, and here are some accepted varieties. But when you get too heavy in the color, it really changes that nice soft look of this SKU. So you'll find some great guidance that way. The product recipe catalog you can also access through the quality section in FTDI.com. And it's a great resource for all of the recipes out there. There's some sub-guidance at the SKU level that you might find interesting and very helpful as well. I should mention that sunflowers are going to be in 3 of the items this year. So we know they're out there. We know they're available. As Joe mentioned, pre-book those items. get those flowers ordered in advance so that you make sure you have those flowers ready for the holiday. So that's going to be really important. And color is really the whole king with this approach to filling to accuracy. But I kind of want to back up a little bit to order management. And this is a big piece of accuracy for me, and it really goes along with best practices. So one of the things that's most disappointing to customers is when you get an order in early, maybe you get it 2 weeks before the holiday, you might even get it at the end of April, and it's for a specific codified item or it has specific flowers in it, and you don't really recognize that or chart for it early enough in the holiday, and then by the time you get to the holiday, you might run out of things. So I would implore you to use the FIFO program, right? Remember that from grade school, the first in, first out? And every time an order comes in, your system doesn't have to be sophisticated. Just even a little check sheet to say, hey, I've got one of the S8 containers, I've got to check that out, I have to check that out, and go through the whole list. So when you get to the holiday, you're not going to disappoint a customer who really did plan ahead and plan early. And so that order management is a really important part of your preparation. It'll help you build a flower list too. And then the last thing, I think Joe really hit the nail on the head when he talks about pre-planning and pre-books, and just get those orders in early on. I think it'll really help you have a successful holiday. So I think moving to the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about delivery. Maybe.
Clicking.
So while I was clicking, I'm going to kind of go ahead a little bit, if that's all right, Emily.
Yeah, go ahead.
A couple bullets I know on that slide are about zip codes would be the first thing that I would like you to kind of maybe review your zip codes before the holiday. You may decide to reduce in a few areas that might be a little more difficult to deliver to right now, or you might decide to expand, but just don't overcommit. Just right size your delivery footprint, and again, it'll help you succeed for the holiday. Also, we talked about, and then we mentioned this early on in the presentation about no contact delivery. I think this is a very important part. One of the things that you can do to kind of promote this is to make sure that you take a picture of the arrangement when you leave it on the porch, to make sure that we have some type of proof that the package was delivered. Since no signature is required, I think you'll find that'll be good to follow up with after the holiday. Skipping to the bottom here, backed by popular demand, is the 25% credit for delivery confirmations using the Mercury mobile app. So you'll find this is a real time saver and really helpful tool, I think, out there. So don't miss that opportunity. And then the last opportunity in the slide I want to talk about is the FTD delivery service. And this, I think, is going to be a real game changer for some. So when we're in this period where we have trouble maybe staffing up and finding enough people, you might find the delivery service to be very helpful in that regard. So, a little drink here. I think a couple of the key points for this. So it's available to everybody in the network. The cloud system is actually integrated with the service, so it's very easy to use. But any other type of system that you're on, whether it's our Mercury POS system or any other system, you can actually access this delivery service through a portal. The price has been reduced for the next 3 months, for April, May, and June, from $11 down to $7.50, which I think is a great price point. And certainly, again, heading through this holiday, I think you'll find that to be a real plus in this. It only does now cover a 5 to 7 mile radius, but I think if you set up your delivery approach in a strategic manner, I think you're going to really find that'll really help you out in servicing your customers, or you can use it for even targeted deliveries and things like that. So pretty exciting. Also, just recently they've increased the number of packages that they'll take. So it's anywhere from 1 to 7 packages with any one driver. And then the one good thing to know is that all the the DoorDash drivers, this is actually in a partnership with DoorDash, and all the DoorDash drivers are trained in CDC safety protocols and no contact delivery. So that's not a concern there. But so I think what you can do, there's more information on this on ftdi.com under the business solutions and delivery service. And I know Emily's going to send out more communication on this in the coming weeks, but I would really encourage you to take advantage of this partnership, because I think it'll help you get through the holiday for sure. So, Emily, I think you have a little more. Oh, sorry, Joe. What's that?
It's great to hear about the reduced cost on the deliveries and the batch deliveries. It's a game changer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think we will be announcing and sending out more information actually later this week. So, we've had shops who have maybe gone down, they've had to lay off all of their employees, and maybe they're just a one-person show right now. So it's a great opportunity to leverage it. And I would also encourage you, if you're interested in it, to try it out in the next couple of weeks. Don't do it for the first time kind of in the heat of a holiday. There's a way to, get that tested out, make sure you know how it works and are comfortable, so that when you do get into the height of the holiday, you're not trying it out for the first time. So it's great thing that DoorDash is doing in partnership with FTD, really, to help out our florist network, because they see a real need and an opportunity there to assist florists. So we're really excited about that and what they're doing with us. So more to come on that. I'm going to talk a little bit about marketing, and even more to come on this, with some information to come shortly too about Google Ads opportunity for our florists. So again, stay tuned. Another, people are really, it's really cool to see even larger organizations really helping out small businesses in particular. So more to come on that, but do want to call out that if you can invest in marketing, there are some things to do. Not everybody right now has the deep pockets and all those high big budgets to do it. But if you can, there's an opportunity, because more than likely your competitor may not be. And so there are going to be some opportunities there where your cost is going to decrease. So you maybe could do a little bit more than you normally would have, because it's just not as competitive. And if you can't, that's okay. It is what it is right now. And so I would recommend then focus on your existing customers, those that have been really loyal with you. Have that relevant messaging on your website. Email is super cost effective. Social is super cost effective. And so make sure you have that relevant messaging about keeping connected and not being there to see mom. I think, to have on your site or your emails kind of like none of this is happening, just to me doesn't feel right. So I think having that relevant messaging is really important, just to kind of make people go, yeah, flowers are really, the health benefits of flowers. SAF has a ton of information about that too, if you feel like that's going to really help your customers and connect with sending flowers. I saw this idea today, FaceTime browsing. So if you have a shop and your storefront is closed, but you have a lot of gifts, there was a gift shop out east that was actually offering FaceTime browsing sessions. And so they would do like a Facebook Live and browse their gift shop area, so that customers could come on and see maybe the candles, the figurines, whatever other gift ideas they have, and then would basically put in the comments what they were interested in purchasing. And then would take their, would make contact through Facebook, and the owner would hook up with the customers and ship it out to them, or do curbside pickup if they were local. So I thought that was an awesome idea to maybe move some of that inventory also, if you have the time or an extra resource to be able to do that. But I mean, just in general, I went into Google just to find, small business ideas, marketing ideas during COVID-19, and the amount of information out there is overwhelming. So there are resources, there are people that want to help. So those were just a few ideas that I thought were really good. FTD is also offering, if you sign up by the end of April, our own email marketing program, free through June 30th, no commitment afterwards. So if you don't have an email marketing program, we have a team. They will help you. They will get your list. They will help you drive those orders for Mother's Day using email. So we have that. And then we also have some social media images for free on our Mother's Day site that you can download and share out also. So we have dozens out there for you that you can take a look at. So there's lots of resources out there for you. It's just sifting through and finding what's going to work for you, your shop the best. And so with that, I just want to cover before we kind of conclude here and get to questions, which again, if you do have questions, make sure that you type it in that box on the right side of your screen, and we'll go through and answer some of those in the time that we have left. But FTD does have our resources page, so ftdi.com/Mother's Day. We also have a COVID-19 resource page. So any emails we've sent out, information about FTD's assistance program, we're waiving membership fees for the month of April, as well as transmission fees on orders this month. And then payments are actually coming early on from March. So that is happening this week as well. So just, our way of helping as much as we can for your day-to-day kind of operations. The federal relief programs, as Keith mentioned, with SBA.gov. And I do want to give a huge shout out to the Society of American Florists. They have done a tremendous job. If you are not a member, this truly shows the value of being a member of SAF. But I also want to say they have opened up all of their webinars to non-members. So if you go to safnow.org, they have an incredible amount of resources navigating by your state, the SBA federal loan information. They have probably had a dozen webinars that have all been great in all facets. They had one earlier today on Mother's Day, which was very operational. So I think it would also be a really good resource for you to go back and watch. They record all of them and they're available to watch. And then I also want to just say Whizbang Retail Training. They are a couple out of Michigan. They owned a small retail business for almost 2 decades. They now are consultants of small business owners. They have been doing also a phenomenal job. Even today, I got an alert. They were going live on Facebook and having a community forum where it's small independent business owners like yourself coming together, sharing ideas, swapping ideas. They also had kind of a dissecting the SBA, the federal loans session. So again, there's a lot of resources out there. It's just finding them. So I highly recommend Susan and Bob Nagan at Whizbang Training, again, just as a great independent resource for you. So at this time, we will take it to questions, and Aaron is the guy behind the curtain, and he is going to let us know what questions you have.
Sure. I do have one right away. We actually have several in the queue, so we'll start with Janet. She wants to know, should we mention COVID-19 in our communications and posts?
I will take that one, and I think, yes, just kind of like I mentioned, that, I think having that relevant messaging is totally fine. Actually, we also, FTD hosted a couple weeks ago, we had a social media webinar that was scheduled in March about paid and versus organic social. And actually our presenter kind of pivoted real quickly and changed it all to be about leveraging social media in crisis. So that's a great resource too, just to talk about how to even talk about it in social. So you can find our recorded webinars on FTDI under our education tab.
Great. Joe, this one's for you. Jody wants to know is, can the STEM count calculator be updated with all the items now that are in the projected bestsellers?
Yeah, absolutely. That's I'm gonna write that down to do. We can get that done today.
Great. Tiffany has a question.
For those of you that don't,
go ahead.
I just want to say for those of you that don't know, so on the flowerexchange.com, they do have a STEM count calculator where again, you can plug in, similar to that product calculator, you can plug in how many containers you have of a codified item, and then it will spit back out to you how many stems you need to fill those orders.
Great. Heather had a question, and actually Jody had this question earlier. I typed it back to her, but Emily, can you tell everyone where the container breakdown, that percentage spreadsheet that you showed, where will we host that on FTDI?
So we will have that. We have our ftdi.com/Mother's Day resources. So we will have it in there, but what we also have on that page is we'll have it in our weekly emails. So every Monday, so hopefully you all are on this webinar, so you must be getting our emails. or you're seeing it in social. But every Monday we do send out a holiday prep email. So we will have it in there for the next few Mondays too. So make sure you're opening up our emails, but we'll also have it on that Mother's Day page as well.
Great. Have a question here. I noticed that the Your Precious B55 was removed from the projected bestsellers that we posted last week. Is this update now that we have with these top 12 going to be the final, or is there going to be another update to this as well?
No, this is our go forward. So again, Your Precious will be up on it's on the site today, and it will be up until May 3rd. So you will still get orders that are needed to be delivered Mother's Day weekend for that item. It just won't be in that peak week available for delivery, orders taken for delivery Mother's Day.
Great. Question here
The
about...
reason we did that, I'm sorry, Erin. The reason we did that too is that, again, just to simplify recipes, simplify STEM. So just looking, Sweet Surprises and Sweet and Pretty are very similar to Your Precious with the same. So just, again, looking to simplify.
Great. Here's a question from Joe. He wants to know if DoorDash is available in Canada, specifically in Montreal.
Up in Canada,
Go ahead, Joe.
up in Canada, I believe we were partnering with Postmates. I'm not sure if they're offering an exclusive price discount right now, but it's something we can get back with the member.
Great. How do we sign up for the delivery service? Can you guys explain that process? I don't know if that's Emily or Joe.
So everybody has a login for it already. Emily, do you want to take this one?
Sure. So, yes, everybody already has a login. If you are a Mercury Cloud user, it is actually already in your system. There's a little purple truck. So it is already in your system. If you have point of sale or you have a third-party system, you would have to log into the delivery service portal. So that information, if you, we are going to send out it again in an email just to tease it out later this week. But if you go on to ftdi.com and business solutions, there's a delivery service section. There's videos that walk you through what to do. And if you needed more information, we can certainly help you out if you needed more. It's very easy, particularly in Mercury Cloud.
And I just sent a link out to the entire audience, so you'll see it in your little chat with a direct link to the delivery service. So if everyone wants to see it in there too. I'll also send a link to the Mother's Day section, because we did have another question about where can I find a list of all the arrangements for the week of Mother's Day. And those are all in that ftdi.com/Mother's Day link. So off the homepage in the right-hand column, there's a quick link that says Mother's Day tools and resources, or you could go straight to the link I'm going to post here in the chat. And then it has everything from the projected bestsellers to, we will have that calculator up there, but then the Mother's Day guide and the flour substitution policies that Keith had mentioned earlier as well.
Great, thank you.
And then when will those arrangements be available, Joe, for the pre-made bouquets that you were offering from Flower Exchange?
Yeah, we've had customers ordering for, the full month of April. We're taking pre-book orders about 1 week in advance on those. So I'd say our soonest delivery date on that would probably be for like the 23rd.
And are those labor savers available to Canadian members?
Right now, we are not shipping up to Canada.
Okay.
That's something we gotta get our head wrapped around after Mother's Day.
Great. I think that's all the questions we have. Because I know we're over time too. We're about 15 minutes past, but we had a lot of great questions. Emily, I'll turn it back over to you for any closing comments.
Great. All right. Well, thank you. We really appreciate you being with us today. Thank you so much for all that you do. Our next webinar is going to be on Tuesday, May 19th, and it's called How to Plan, Prepare, and Forecast for the Rest of 2020. It's presented by retail business expert Lynn Switanowski, who is the founder of Creative Business Consulting Group. And again, another speaker. It was going to be a different topic, and we're kind of pivoting with that after Mother's Day to really look about forward into how do we all plan for the rest of 2020. So that should be a good one to catch. So thank you for attending today's webinar. This will be has been recorded. We will share it back out and it will be posted to our YouTube channel. And so this concludes today's webinar, Preparing for Mother's Day in the Midst of a Crisis. Thank you, everyone, and be safe and healthy.